There were days where I'd wake up, stare at the ceiling, and just lie there. Not because I was tired, but because I didn't really see the point of moving. If you've ever felt that too, here's how I finally clawed my way out. So the first thing I want to talk about is the whole idea of just staying in your bed. Staying in bed all day doesn't feel good. It just feels safer. And the truth is, your brain is smart. It's not lazy, it's just protective sometimes. Your bed becomes this weird neutral zone. You don't have to go through any hard conversations. You don't have to hear any bad news. And there are no chances of messing up while laying in bed. It's kind of like Wyoming. Nothing happens there, and nothing can hurt you. But over time, the safety starts turning into suffocation, and you begin to confuse comfort with coping. Because at least if you're in bed, you don't have to face how far behind you feel. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people who can't get out of bed aren't struggling with effort. They're struggling with being overwhelmed. There's too much to fix. Too many decisions to make, too many unfinished things screaming for your attention. So your brain shuts down the whole system to protect you from a full-on crash. It's not giving up, it's trying to stop the bleeding. And it's pretty hard to fight that with motivation. You have to rebuild safety outside the bed. Because when your environment is pure chaos, inaction starts to feel like the only thing that makes sense. But what if I told you your brain knows something that you don't? Because this shutdown you're stuck in, it's not weakness. It's a system override. And in the next 60 seconds, I'll show you exactly why your body hits the brakes, even when your mind is begging to move. When your computer overheats, it doesn't politely ask if you want to keep going. It force quits everything and powers down. Not because it hates you, but because it's trying to protect what's left. Your brain works the same way. And a lot of us mistake that shutdown as weakness, when it's really just overload. This isn't just a poetic metaphor. It's literally how learned helplessness works. In the 1960s, researchers ran this messed up experiment where dogs were shocked repeatedly with no escape. Eventually, when a way out was offered, they didn't try. They just lie down and brace for the pain. You might not be getting shocked, but the loop is the same. Fail enough times, feel powerless enough times, and your brain stops believing that action matters. So it pulls you into stasis and numbness, not because it wants you to disappear, but because trying has hurt before. And here's the wild part. Your brain is actually making a logical choice. It's just using outdated data. You're not fighting laziness, you're fighting a nervous system that hasn't felt safe in a while, which means the solution isn't force, it's evidence. You need small, safe wins that remind your brain, hey, when I try now, things don't always fall apart. Because if your brain doesn't believe action is worth the risk, it'll keep dragging you back under, even when your soul is begging to move. Now here's the section where most people mess up. They try to find purpose when their brain is still stuck in survival mode. But I'll show you a better frame. One that rebuilds momentum without needing clarity, confidence, or motivation. If you felt hopeless, this flips everything. One of the worst things you can do when life feels pointless is try to find your purpose. I get why people say it, but if you're stuck in bed, staring at the ceiling, asking, what's my purpose? It's like asking for life's cheat code when you haven't even pressed start. Here's a better frame. Don't search for purpose, search for proof. Proof that you can move. Proof that your actions still have an impact. Proof that you're not fully gone yet. Because your brain doesn't run on philosophy, it runs on evidence. And right now, all the evidence says that effort equals nothing changes. So let's flip that. Think of it like driving through fog. You don't need a crystal map for your entire life. You just need the next 50 feet of seeing the road in front of you. Ask yourself, can I eat something nourishing? Can I reply to a few texts? Can I open my curtains and get some sunlight? That's not purpose, that's proof you're not powerless. And when your brain starts collecting those proof points, you stop feeling like a failure waiting to happen. You start feeling like a person who can move again. We aren't chasing purpose. We're stacking data. Because once your brain starts seeing that movement equals safety, momentum follows it naturally. Once your brain starts collecting wins, you don't just feel less stuck. You start becoming unstoppable, but only if you can build a system that stacks those wins automatically. Before I show you mine, I made you something to make this even easier. If you've ever felt like no routine sticks, like your energy just leaks away before you even begin, I made this for you. It's a free ebook called The Deep Reset. Inside of it are 12 practical shifts backed by behavioral science that helped me rebuild my focus, mornings, and motivation without relying on willpower or fake productivity hacks. Download it for free using the link in the description and keep this momentum going even after the video ends. It's not about more effort, it's about less resistance. So the next part of the video isn't theory. It's the exact 3-step stack that people can use to rebuild their mornings from rock bottom. If you've ever wanted a simple routine that works when you feel broken, don't miss what's coming up next. So the first hour of your day makes or breaks your ability to claw forward. And no, I'm not talking about some 4 a.m. cold plunge biohacker grind. I'm talking about 3 low-resistance steps that rebuild safety, presence, and control. So part 1 is to just move something. It doesn't have to be a full workout, just tell your nervous system we aren't frozen. Because sometimes that's all you need when you can't find a purpose to get out of bed. Just stretch. Do something like 10 slow squats. The goal isn't fitness, it's just to get yourself warmed up. Number 2 is to empty your head. It might help sometimes to grab a piece of paper and just dump your thoughts onto that paper. Just scribble the noise out. It doesn't have to be coherent, just offload the static. Number 3 is to stack one win that feeds your identity. Do something that makes you feel alive. Answer an email, send a job application, make a breakfast you'd be proud to serve someone else. That win should whisper to your brain saying, hey, we're the kind of person who tries. Even the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said that the best actions are the ones done consistently, even if they're small. It's not about doing some grand effort once. It's about having repeatable proof. This isn't about building a perfect routine right now. It's about designing a runway out of the fog. And these 3 steps give your brain exactly what it's been craving: movement, clarity, and proof that you're still in the fight. But even the best system crashes. If you start your day with 37 tabs open in your brain, and right after this, I'll show you the silent input overload that's draining your energy before you even leave bed, and how to protect your mind from it. Most people don't realize how loud the world has gotten. You open your eyes, and within 30 seconds, you've seen a clip of war, a fake millionaire's morning routine, and a 20-year-old's 6-figure income breakdown. So you're not lazy. It's just a lot of emotional sensory overload before you've even brushed your teeth. Your brain was built to handle a few real-world inputs at a time. Seeing someone's face, hearing someone's voice, cutting down a tree, or just handling a task. Now it's trying to process hundreds of emotionally charged signals before 9 a.m. And it burns out pretty fast. Studies show that chronic overstimulation raises cortisol, reduces working memory, and blunts your emotional regulation. That's just a fancy way of saying, if you start your day flooded, your brain spends the rest of the day buffering. It's like opening 40 tabs and wondering why the laptop is slow. You didn't break it, you just overloaded it. So here's the fix. For the first 30 to 60 minutes of your day, treat your attention like sacred ground. No TikTok, no inbox, no chaotic inputs. Just a few minutes of silence, or sunlight, or real food. The brain needs space to boot up. Because when the first thing it processes is noise, it assumes the whole day will be noise. Give it some calmness, and you'll be shocked at how much more energy you unlock. If you still feel numb after all that, even with a routine, you might be missing the one variable no habit tracker can measure, which is human contact. In 20 seconds, I'll show you how tiny moments of connection can rewire your nervous system faster than any productivity hack. You can build the perfect morning routine, but if you're still doing life in isolation, you'll stay stuck in your head. We weren't designed to suffer alone, and yet the lonelier we get, the more shame we feel about being seen in that state. So you hide, which makes the loneliness worse, and that makes the shame worse. It's a self-reinforcing silence loop. But here's what breaks it. Not deep vulnerability, just small human signals that remind your brain you still belong. So text one person, go outside and make eye contact with a cashier or something. Send a meme to someone you trust. Literally anything. It's not only about socializing, because it's also about reestablishing that you exist to someone, that you are still real, still seen, still alive in the world. Because no matter how many solo systems you build, if your nervous system feels like the last human on Earth, you'll keep pulling the blanket back over your head. Connection is not a reward for healing. It's part of the process, and even tiny touches of it, like a smile, a call, a comment, can start to thaw the ice. If you've made it this far, you already know. This isn't about grinding harder, it's about rebuilding smarter. But to truly reclaim your mornings and motivation, there's one tool that brings everything we've talked about together. So if you're serious about rebuilding and not just surviving, download the Deep Reset ebook. It's free, no fluff, just 12 clear shifts that help you reclaim your mornings, your mind, and your motivation. Think of it like a user manual for getting unstuck, just one page at a time. You can click the link in the description because your reset starts there. And even after everything I just said in this video, there's a deeper reason mornings still feel so hard. It's not just your habits, it's the world you were promised and the grief of realizing that it's gone. Some mornings you still won't want to move. Not because you're lazy, but because deep down you're grieving a life that was promised and never delivered. You did everything you were told. You tried the routines, tried the goals, tried to care, but nothing feels stable. And somewhere along the way, getting out of bed became an act of survival. But here's what changed everything for me. I stopped blaming myself and started seeing the system for what it is. Because if you were born in the mid-90s to 2000s, you're not just tired, you've been reprogrammed by a world that's moving too fast for the human mind to keep up. A world where the previous generation's advice doesn't work like it used to, where AI, isolation, and rising costs are quietly breaking people who still think the problem is them. If you want to finally understand why you feel this way and how to build peace in a world designed for burnout, then you can watch my last video on why life feels so different now for our generation. It might be the reason that you've been stuck.